Welcome to the s30.parts website. I've been putting this together for a couple of weeks in order that I can achieve something that I really want to achieve for me as I go through the restoration of my first S30. I picked up my very first 240 around about 5 years ago now, and unfortunately the car I bought arrived with a twisted chassis. It was beyond my ability to fix, but I chose then to sort of look for another chassis. I was able to pick up a 280, excellent condition. Thought about building one into two, and now I find myself in the situation where actually my skills have developed enough that I can restore both cars. Restoring two cars is a big expense, as I'm sure many of you know, and especially here in Europe, there aren't many Datsuns around and the parts are relatively inaccessible. The parts have become a lot more accessible thanks to services such as s30.eu, who have excellent pricing and they're really good with shipping, and it's an excellent way to buy parts. But nevertheless, finding things like clutch throwout bearings, utility seals for axles and shafts, all of these kinds of things are really hard to source. And if you find yourself buying from Z-Car or any of the other how are they called, auto parts, it can be really expensive. And the expense isn't necessarily the problem, but the accessibility to knowing what you're buying can be a problem. I wanted to take the original scans, everything that was found in these microfilms that were available from one of the Z forums. They used to charge money for them in order to support the forum. Meanwhile, they make them available for free. Those things are out of copyright now, and copyright regardless, German law, where I'm based, is fairly forgiving in case you invest a significant amount of work on top of what may be a copyrighted work. So what I've been able to do is apply my skills as a software engineer in order to process all of the 950 or so pages of the original parts diagrams for all the model years for the S30 chassis, and to embed those things, run them through an AI, extract all the part numbers, find the relevant parts of the parts diagrams, the exploded diagrams, and render all of those things on a website. In parallel, as I've been buying parts for my car, I've taken the dimensions of the wheel bearings. They're a standard commodity part. You can find them for $20. That's great. Less great, the bearings out of the steering rack. They're a really unusual size, and being able to find those is something that still isn't accessible to me. So my hope is by putting all of these parts online, together as a community, we can then go through and say, oh, well, it may have been Nissan N132 whatever back in the day, but these days it's a cheap bearing that you can buy from whatever, and here's the part number. And that between all of us, we can find vendors and suppliers for all of these unusual parts, so that as time goes on and parts become less accessible, we can work together as a community to keep the knowledge out of those Facebook forums, keep it accessible on the internet, make it searchable via Google, and to make sure that we can all continue to enjoy our cars for years and years to come. The website that I've put up now is the very first version. The AI did a really excellent job of extracting part numbers, but because of the quality of the old scans, things like A's and 4's are easily confused, I's and J's and 1's, 0's and O's. The AI did pretty excellent, and I think in my manual testing it looks really good. But soon I'll add features so that if you're browsing around the website and you know something about how to source a specific part, or a vendor who has those magical Kia door seals or those Toyota 4Runner brake rotors, if you'd be kind enough to click the buttons I'm planning to add and add this information back in. Add the Toyota part number to this database. Add the Kia door seals part number to this database. Or in case the AI process that I ran to analyze all of these scans didn't work, if there's a typo in one of the part numbers or the description isn't quite right, let me know. Those buttons don't exist today, but if you find this website useful, there's contact information at the bottom, and right now you can just email me any corrections or information you have. And if I see that the website's gaining traction, my commitment, my contribution to the community as software engineer is to use my skills to enable something like this to help us all keep our cars on the road for years and decades to come. Thanks for spending a minute learning about this project. I hope it serves some purpose for you.